Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Talk with Rose. Let's. We got a couple interesting things to talk about today, and sound is tested, so it should be working. So if my sound disappears again off this video, I'm gonna really be starting to worry because I don't know how sound just disappears. Because, like I said, my mic shows everything's working. So I was watching some more Gypsy videos. I watch YouTube, and when I saw some Gypsy videos and people were asking questions, I decided to go kind of a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. And one of the things I wanted to do was pick some newspaper articles from right after the unaliving. Not all the ones that say Munchausen by proxy, because I'm tired of there's two different kinds of streamers out there when it comes to Gypsy Rose. There's the streamer that streams the standard story, what's in the newspapers, and what Gypsy is saying, all the Munchausen stuff. And then there's the streamers that are going down the rabbit hole. Well, maybe there's three. There's the streamers that will give you their opinion on how much they don't like her and stuff. And so there is those ones. And then there's the ones that jump down the rabbit hole, start pulling out all the research, going down, looking for any facts or anything out there. Now, what I talk about, I will pull up newspaper articles and stuff. It doesn't mean it's facts. None of this is facts. This is us just talking. This is all for educational purposes, just to have fun talking about a subject we all want to talk about. And so we dive down to find those answers. And I was watching YouTube, and Mommy, Dead, and Dearest popped up, and I thought, why do I want to watch Mommy, Dead, and Dearest? I've already seen it. And I've seen it not in its entirety, but mostly here and there a couple of times. And you see clips all the time from Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, and I thought, the thing I do like about Mommy, Dead, and Dearest is when you listen to a lot of the people that talk on there, it is before the Munchausen came out, and that's what gave me the idea to continue jumping down the Munchausen rabbit hole. The under the Munchausen rabbit hole, really. I wanted to get past that everything because I wanted to be like, okay, what happened in the beginning? The true newspaper articles before the Munchausen. And so we're going to watch a couple clips from Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, because they do show a couple things I'm talking about. That all of a sudden, so I clicked on Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, and I was surprised by what I saw, because yes, I've seen Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, but I saw it then with what I knew about Gypsy. I didn't see it with what I know now about Gypsy. And so there's two different ways to watch things. There's things when you watch him with that one knowledge, and then later on when you watch him with that knowledge. And so now we're going to go back down this rabbit hole, because there's a couple things in this video that tripped me up that nobody's talked about, that it's going, wait, you guys, there's some proof in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest what's going on. And then we're going to show you a newspaper article too, and one of her first podcast interviews she did when she came out of prison. Because what another streamer, and we'll talk about that other streamer, what they talked about got me. Everybody's already thinking it. She started talking about it even more, but I kind of sided with her. And then after I found this newspaper article, I kind of started questioning it again. So let's look at Mommy, Dead, and Dearest real quick. There's a couple scenes in here I want you guys to see. So we want to go see the first time well, I like this chick that's talking. I think this is the one I like. No, not, okay. Oh, this is one of the neighbors, I think. Oh, this is I like this chick right here. She's like, I wonder if anybody who talks to Gypsy feels like they're getting any part of a true story. And she's so right. Like, she it does not believe Gypsy 1 ounce on anything. Okay, so we want to go back to where we meet Rod. Because listen to what Rod has to say when we first meet Rod in the documentary. Okay, it's somewhere close to the beginning. There's a couple things that Rod does that made me start rethinking stuff. Okay. Maybe it is further down. I don't know. I thought it was further up. Okay, let's see if he says it here or if I gotta go back further. Well, no, it doesn't. Am I getting the full Mommy, Dad, and Dearest? Because it was more up here. Where I don't think this is the full, hold on, I don't think this is the full Mommy, Dad, and Dearest video. I closed it down last night. Okay, complete documentary right here. Okay, here we go. This is what we need. Okay, right here. Where we first meet Rod. See, I knew it was way up here. Okay, so listen to when we meet Rod, one of the first things Rod says. Okay, here we go. Right there. This is why the Munchausen and everything came out, because Rod had to go deeper and overthink this, because he's like, how do you kill your own mother? You don't just do it over a boyfriend. You don't just what does he say? He says there's got to be abuse. There's got to be. And then you're going to see the proof in the next scene that I show you with Rod. Exactly what he's doing, because Gypsy, she said it in the interrogations, she said it Nick's court case, she said it all the time when she first got busted. When they asked her, why did your mom have to be unalived, right there in court, she says, I wanted to be free of her grasp on me. I want, because she wanted her boyfriend, she wanted Nick. And Rod's going, no. There's got to be more. And so in just a second, we're going to see Rod trying to delve into that more. So right here, watch this. See, the thing is Chrissy said exactly the right thing. I don't know. Because prior to Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, Christy didn't know anything about Gypsy, didn't want to know anything about Gypsy, wasn't in any of the pictures of Gypsy's first 14 years of her life. And so, exactly, Chrissy, you don't know. Nothing. Now that we got a documentary and she's famous and they got paid for these documentaries. That's why they're mad at the act, because the act didn't pay them like they promised. So they don't watch the act. They don't want to do anything with the act. They're like, and I'm surprised I wonder what happened, why she flipped after she got out. And she's like, okay, fine, I do want to meet Joey King. Because she's like, Mom, Millie Bobby Brown should have played me. And I didn't watch the act because I don't want to watch my life. And it's like, no, you don't want to watch it because it does hurt to watch abuse, especially if you're a survivor and you relate to certain moments. And I don't think she wants to be caught not being able to relate, not getting all broke up about, I'm really. She says it's because she doesn't want to relive it, but I don't think it's because she doesn't want to relive it. It's because it's the same reason why we talked on my last episode about why she is trying to shut Kate down, why she won't let anybody else talk about Munchausen by proxy, and she won't join any support groups because she doesn't, as a sociopath, she can't connect. And she can't connect to something that she hasn't experienced or been taught. Like I talked about in my last video, she learned the word cash cow from Dr. Phil. Everything you tell Gypsy, if she says, oh, that fits my narrative, she starts parroting it, and now it's part of her story. And now she's got a new addition to her story, because now she's parroting you. But she's pretending like she's not parroting you, that she came up with that. But let's watch here. Let's watch what Rod does. And look at this, look at this, look at this. 2 photos side by side. This is perfect. Because these are the photos I was telling you guys about. Here's Gypsy, what, 4 or 5 years old? Wheelchair? Sitting in a wheelchair? Really young looking there, isn't she? Really young. Looks a couple years older down here. Not in her wheelchair, sitting on Rod's lap. She's out of the wheelchair. Unless, I guess, he picked her up out of the wheelchair and held her. I think she's sitting in Rod's lap. She might be standing. That photo is interesting because she definitely is older than here. She's not in the wheelchair. And so right here, they're looking for the abuse. They're looking for over these last 14 years. No, she wasn't in a wheelchair. She's like 4 or 5 years old. Right here, this picture proves how well her legs work. Her butt, her center of gravity right here, is way over here on the side of the chair. Her upper torso is way off of the chair. Line that upper torso with the chair. Half of it is off the chair. The other half is like over the corner of the chair. Her center of gravity is way over here and forward. And she's not falling out of that chair. Because why? Her legs, her muscles of her thighs and legs are keeping her in that chair. Yesterday I tried doing that exact pose and I fell out of my chair a couple times. Because I'm probably in a different chair to do it. But however, once you shift your center of gravity over and forward, because you can see her butt is off the chair. You can see her hips are at a curve. Even through that big bulky dress, you could see she's curved up like this and forward, way forward, grabbing that tree. And she's not falling out of that chair. She's almost standing up out of that chair. She's just a second away from literally just lifting herself up out of that chair. Like, it's funny how they put these innocent photos into documentaries and everything and show it to everybody because it's Gypsy in a chair and it's cute and it shows the past. And it does. It shows that she's almost out of that chair. It shows that she's lifting up and out of that chair. Like I said, I have an ex-husband that is paralyzed, and I've never seen him without that belt strap. And his center of gravity is always kind of shifting, kind of sideways, kind of like this, and he's never just straight up and legs straight out, and his feet kind of bend, and they just kind of flop and lay there because there's no ankle muscle either. There's just absolutely zero muscles. From he popped his last two vertebrae, so like from like the hippish area down, and so there's like yeah, so everything just, his legs kind of just flop like this over this way or this way, or they're never straight up, or they just kind of flop, like one will flop and one will be kind of straight. He actually drilled these. He actually, the funny thing is, on the bottom of his shoe, he actually put these, he put a bolt through his shoe, a bolt. And then he drilled a hole in the foot of his chair, and he sticks that bolt straight down into the foot pedal, the foot, and that way he can keep his legs as straight as possible and keep his ankles from bending, because he put a bolt through his shoe, and then he hooks that bolt into a hole in the foot pedal that he drilled into the chair. And so I've never seen, or nobody's ever showed me that, but it was just kind of interesting to learn that about him. But that's how he keeps his legs as straight as possible as he's paralyzed, because your legs just flop around. And especially as you move your center of gravity, and your leg just kind of flops, and he does that by having bolts in his shoes. She's don't got no bolts in her shoes. She's barefoot. It looks like she might have a cast on the one foot, because one leg is showing skin and the other looks very pink. So either she's got something over it, or that's a cast. It looks like, did Dee Dee put a cast on her or something, or keep her in the chair? I don't know. But I mean, she's definitely got some leg power there, guys. There's no way I could go up to my ex-husband and be like, take those feet out of the bolts, unbolt your feet, and sit on the edge of your chair like that. I would like to see you sit on the edge of your chair like that and not flop out. And he'd probably be like, he'd be like, I will fall flat on my face. And so, yeah, you can see that she's just, oh my gosh. She's almost out of that chair. And so, what is she, 10 there? I mean, she's way older there. I mean, this has got to be closer to when they were leaving Louisiana, because she's got more of a feminine body. She looks like she's starting to get more of a feminine body. And then I was watching Crime Rewind with Veda J? And she was talking about, oh, we got to watch one more clip from a video. We got to watch really quickly her podcast. So, Gypsy Rose podcast interview. I think this one might even be paused exactly where I needed it, where I left off yesterday. And why is he back? Because you got 9 million times the attention, 10 million times the attention. I don't get why Ken is putting him, unless it's for money, that he's putting himself in this situation. Because if he couldn't have handled the million or two people the act brought in, I don't know how he can handle the 10 million. And the constant, not paparazzi pictures, because it's We all know it's Chrissy taking those pictures and selling them to TMZ. Everybody knows that. Yeah, you're you're not doing anything about it though. You're not using your social media platform like people out there that are going, "Hey, let's do this for Nick, or let's do this for Nick, or let's do that for Nick, and let's help Nick." You're out there shutting them down. You're not using your social media platform for good. You're using it to talk about prison life, to do your makeup, to show off you and Ken. You're using your money to get a nose job so that you feel better about yourself. I haven't seen you do anything out there to make somebody else feel better about themselves. You're not bringing their stories, because this was way back in January. We are in May. We are almost at summertime. You've been out of jail almost 6 months. And I haven't watched this interview in its entirety. So it's upsetting here to sit here and hear her say, this is why people started supporting her, though, out the gate. She made these promises out the gate that the next day she didn't live up to. She's done nothing but selfish things. Because she's like, well, and Ryan got her a dog because she's home all day bored. Why are you home all day bored? I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm not home all day bored because I got my platform. I keep myself busy between all my duties around the house plus my platform, where I do actually have a Discord where we listen to people's problems and actually care about them and give them advice, not on a professional level, but people all around the world. I got people all around the world, from America to Canada to several countries in the UK to Australia. So you got different people of different ages, of different stages in their lives, and different ethnic backgrounds giving you advice. That's, why, like, I can't see why she's not doing exactly what she promised and, like, what I'm doing. You got the money to get better equipment than I have. I've to go 9 years ago when I did streaming, when I was just doing psychology, all I had was a laptop, a camera, and a tripod, and an SD card. That's all I had, and a editing program. And now I have a lot more than that because my husband's an IT guy, and he's acquired me some more equipment because of that. But out of my poor little pocket, and I'm not making money at this, but here you are, fresh out of the gate, making $3 million, and you can't do anything better than I got, and actually get out there and literally bring people's stories to light, going, okay, this, because this is the first time I've heard of somebody. I would be all on board right now trying to help. I think DCFS has too much. One of the things I don't know how to exactly do, I would like to get started, is talking about DCFS and how they lie and they take good kids from people's homes, and there is no agency above them. That you have There is an agency above them that can review what they're doing and, like, give them a slap on the wrist about naughty, 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 you did this. You're not supposed to, as DCFS. And then they can, that's all they could do, though. That, because there's DCFS, and then it starts with a P. I can't think of the name. And then there's the governor, is the only thing above them. But the governor is the only thing that can make DCFS do something. These guys are just in between. Here, we'll take your calls. You can, and it's right there on DCFS's sites. You can go there, and they'll give you the phone number but they can't go to DCFS and say, well, you are doing wrong, so you need to change this. All they can say is, here's what we found out through our investigation they'll do a 30-day investigation and say, this is what we found that you did wrong. And then nothing happens with that paper. They're just there to make sure that DCFS isn't breaking state laws. And if DCFS can pull up one state law that they're following, well, then the parent gets shut down. You'll still get your list of what they did wrong, and they still get a slap on the wrist of, well, we told their supervisor, and hopefully their supervisor will reprimand them for doing these wrong things. And DCFS, they have too much power and nobody to answer to, because the governor's too busy to deal with every DCFS problem out there. Because they told me, they said, Rose, you can go to the governor, but he ain't gonna help. There's other families that have gone to the governor and he ain't doing anything. So basically you have to rely on the mercy of the judge and your lawyer, that your lawyer is correctly representing your case. So basically we're at the mercy of the judges, and it's hard. And there's so much she can do, and it's not that hard. I figured out streaming all for myself. I figured out OBS's, and you just Google how to stream. There's YouTube videos that'll tell you what OBS is to get, what to do, how to do this. There's a lot of how-to videos. You're home, you're bored, you're with your dog. Put your dog in your lap and go Google, how do I start my own platform? I even bought a book. I have a book on it too. I supported one streamer by buying their book. I think I even have it. I don't know if I have it right there or not. Like, I even supported one streamer by buying their book on how to stream. Maybe it's downstairs. But I even supported a streamer that way by going, okay, well, you do have good information. Thanks for the YouTube video. I'll go ahead and purchase your book and support you. And so as streamers, we support each other, and we do that. And you got way more money than I do to go out there and do that, to buy a way better setup than I got. And you got 10 million times the audience I got. You could do a lot of good. You could do a lot of good, so much good. And that's what we're all mad at, is because she's out there just being defensive, not taking accountability, spreading the lies, villainizing everybody out there. And we're going to go into that in a minute, how she's villainizing everybody and who all she's villainizing. Instead of doing, she could have been happy with Ryan if she would have just done what she promised and gone and got a platform. Imagine getting a platform fresh out the gate with 9 million followers watching you go live around the world. Immediately, you're not talking to yourself. You don't have to earn your first views, your first comments, your first likes. They're auto given to you. So immediately, the day, your first day of streaming, your first day of opening your stream, day one, 9 million people that are going to hear your words. And they're going to follow what you say. They're going to listen to what you say. It's just crazy that she just she'd rather just be selfish out there constantly defending herself. Did did she get it? See, once again, something that means self, something that means gypsy, something that, once again, she's like self love. She's got that new hashtag, self love, and she's gonna tattoo her whole body with 50 meanings of self love. Where's the people tattoo their bodies with like meaningful things like dates and memories and pictures and things that that bring out like their love for someone else or something, or and she's just going, no, I need to keep reminding myself, love gypsy, love gypsy, love gypsy. Where is it? Okay, and you're doing nothing to help. See, and she didn't listen. He says you're a quintessential influencer. Help better this world. And she's out there going, this is my makeup, and now I'm out and can buy better makeup instead of coffee for the eyes. And she just wants you to know more about her past, of why she does. Should I tell you guys about why I don't wear makeup? She thinks her mom's the only one who didn't teach her how. My mom doesn't wear makeup. I don't know how to do makeup. That's why I find all these beauty influencers great. Like, they do crime and makeup. One thing I'm thoroughly into, which is crime, and makeup, something I can't do. And I love watching these women get beautiful because it's something I'll never be able to do. Well, yeah, they're hard enough because you don't know. I haven't heard her once in this interview talk much about the abuse either. Once again, we're talking about tattoos and self love and people who wrote to her and people who are having a hard time out there. But things she's talking about how she doesn't care about Nick, he did the act, she just had the idea, kind of. But it was a conversation that started with, will you help me? It's like, okay, that's how it may have allegedly started, Gypsy. But you don't go from that small conversation to the next day he's on the bus and coming down there, and it's that quick. It was a year-long effort. I mean, when you ask somebody, will you protect me against my mom? You say, yeah, I'll protect you. What's going on? That doesn't mean to unalive somebody. To protect somebody from somebody doesn't mean to unalive them. That it means to do you need me to come over? Do you need me to call the cops? Do you need me to help you move out? You know? Because if you're in an abusive relationship and you call the cops and you say, I'm in an abusive relationship, they won't let me move out. They will send an officer over to watch you pack and escort you out the home. If they threaten to unalive you while you're on 911 or on the phone with the police, or the police hear it, they will arrest them and put them in jail for 72 hours, giving you 72 hours of peace to pack and get out of there. So when you say, will you protect me? Of course there's ways to protect you. There's tons of ways. Teach you how to protect yourself against somebody. I mean, obviously you did it when apparently Ryan allegedly banged on the door. You called your sister Mia in the middle of the night and said, come get me. So obviously you know how to leave an abuser, allegedly. Here we go. There's a reason why people don't want to touch it, because it wasn't. The chromosome disorder explains everything. Nobody wants to touch it. Because I guarantee you, if it really was malpractice in the doctors, somebody would touch it. Especially this high profile. I mean, you're not as popular as O.J. Simpson. And people, we had like 5 lawyers touching his. I hope he regrets that line saying, we're disappointed in you lawyers for not taking this. Because lawyers look and they know if they have a winning case or not. And no lawyer goes into files and files for a jury case without knowing that, no, we got some winning facts here. I know if I present this in front of a jury, this? Because maybe you shouldn't be talking about the D being fire, and you should be talking about your advocating stuff. Because people don't talk like that online, and especially people that that talk, people that are also um, survivors of abuse. They don't like to let people in on their actual life. It's a very private thing because their privacy got violated years ago when another person will. Why is they saying will? When another person chose to violate you against your will, and so now you just it. When my ex-husband's wife constantly rubbed it in my face that she was having a wonderful life with my ex-husband, I lied about mine and just said, "Oh, it's horrible. It's I don't want to talk about it. You know, it's bad." And I lied because it's my personal thing that I don't want to be violated of. Because when it's finally consensual and good, you don't want it constantly violated. You want to keep it private and good, and you don't want people out there talking about it. And so I constantly she liked to talk about bestial stuff, and I constantly was like, "You're my ex's wife. This isn't conversations we should be having." And I would have to cut off. We would fight because we would have to cut off the relationship because I wouldn't want to talk to her because all she wants to do is rub in another night of her passion, and I would be like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go there. It feels like being mentally violated. I'm not being physically violated, but when you're trying to compare your actual life to my actual life, and you have my old partner, and he's telling you secrets about me, good or all the bad. He's probably not telling you anything good. He's telling you all the bad. I'm being re-violated over and over and over and over again because she knows all the bad stuff that went on between me and him, and now she's rubbing in all how she's doing better than me. And it's like I'm just mentally being violated. I wouldn't say exactly raped, but violated in a way, maybe raped, mentally raped. To have somebody out there, and one of the reasons why I left my ex was because once again, I was sitting there with my brothers and his friends, and they're like, "Oh, he complained about you actually," and then and it's like, so you're out here spreading private things between us, between my brothers and my brother's friends, and now the woman you're with, and everybody keeps throwing it in my face, and it's just constant mental graping. Where is why does it always disappear? I don't know why I can't find this. I'll just have to tell you. So when she talks about, so what Veda was talking about was, she was talking about, once again, the sexual abuse that In prison, apparently, she came out saying that she had sexual abuse from her grandfather. She goes on to tell these interviewers that she had completely forgave him. Done with. Boom, boom, boom. Forgave him for her, forgave him for him. Didn't want to think about it anymore. Done. Boom, deal, gone. Until she saw at the interview where he said, oh, no, I didn't do that to her. And then, yes, I do think it was disgusting for him to sit there and say, no, she touched me. And I told her, no, don't do that. I see how a kid might accidentally touch somebody. And then the wife is sitting next to him saying, no, that didn't happen. So either she's a liar too, because they're claiming that Dee, Gypsy, and they must have a really big bathtub, and Claude all were taking baths together. And you're telling me that Claude's wife just let that happen without a problem. I mean, I know some wives who do look the other way and they're like, oh, no. And they allow kids to be abused, which those wives that orchestrate that are some of the most horriblest people too. They might as well just be in the room doing it too. Because just like this is why people are mad at Gypsy, just because you were in the other room, you orchestrated it. Just because you were in the other room closing your eyes, shaving your legs, thinking of the actual act you'll have when he's done in there. You still knew what was going on in the other room. You still didn't stop it. And so you're equivalent. Well, worse because somebody lost their life. Well, I mean, you lose a piece of yourself too, though, when you're abused, though. And so, you're sitting here. If you have knowledge, and this is the law in most states, if you have knowledge that a crime is going down and you don't stop it in any way, shape, or form by calling the police, by telling somebody, by literally walking in there and stopping it, and you just look the other way. In my state, it's called being held in the first principle. If it's your idea, if you have knowledge of it, if you're watching it go down and you're orchestrating this, first principle means just because you didn't do the act, having the idea. So Charles Manson in California, because this is why Charles Manson went down, you're just as good as if you did the act. You might as well have done the act, because it was your idea, you influenced, and the only reason why this act happened is because you brought it up. You shouldn't when you wanted to be protected against your mom, why did your first thought go to unaliving? Like I said, two can keep a secret, one is dead. So I said in my very first Gypsy video I ever made, I was like, nobody's saying this, but she's unalived because Gypsy even told it to Dr. Phil. My mom should be where I am. No, she shouldn't be unalived. Because, it shows you that Gypsy knows they would have gone to prison for the fraud they pulled. Now, we don't know what would have happened to Gypsy, because I don't know if she would, she didn't know about Munchausen at that point. Like, if she had ran to Rod and Christie, if they would have thought about Munchausen to get her a good lawyer to be like, nope, the mom made her. She finally ran away and snitched on the mom. The mom needs to go to prison. She said exactly why her mom was unalived. Because instead of being unalived, she should be in prison. Because Gypsy knows that if she hadn't unalived her mom, prison is where she would be. or Gypsy would be in the prison of taking care of. I mean, yes and no. Is it a prison to be the only? It's really hard when you are an only child, and your parent that you're living with is unwed, and it's just you two in this world. And so when you go downhill, this one child is the only person that can take care of you. And yes, they deserve to live a life of their own. They do. They wholeheartedly deserve a life of their own. I don't know exactly what went down because Dee Dee should have let Nick move in. And maybe Nick lived there if Gypsy was truly in love with Nick. Or if she truly found, I bet you if Gypsy found a truly reputable man, like Brian, if she had found somebody like Ryan way back then, I bet Dee Dee might have been happy to let them get married, live in that house. It's a 3-bedroom home. And they take care of Dee Dee. Because that's the truest answer of it all. Is if Dee Dee was really that sick because of her diabetes and everything, is she either, if you can't put her in a nursing home, if you can't get a nurse to come out to the house and take care of her, and you want to live your own life, because what did she have? She had Dan, and then she had Nick. And so she's not bringing home these reputable guys. I mean, Nick just had a young mentality too. I don't think he was that bad of a guy. Like, you've seen his YouTubes and stuff where he talks about music and stuff, and he had his own platform. He just didn't have a job or anything in any way to exactly bring in money to take care of them. And yeah, you can't pull a medical grift and con forever. And you can't pull a OnlyFans con, basically, is what Gypsy's doing, because that's what I'm going to call it. Because it was before OnlyFans, but basically pulling an OnlyFans and marry somebody, and it's to find a husband that'll be like, oh yeah. But there are husbands that'll do it, that'll let you do OnlyFans because they want the money. I actually know that for a fact, that there are husbands out there that will allow you to do that. I don't have an OnlyFans, guys. Don't look up. Don't even try and look me up. But let's go back to the abuse. So she's talking about, oh, I forgave. But then he denied it. And so now I'm out here villainizing him. Well, I told you guys I wanted to go back to the newspaper articles before the Munchausen came into it. I wanted to see what life was like then, before the word Munchausen slipped into everything, and abuse and all of that, when it was at the original story that they were spinning and stuff. And I ran across this newspaper article, and you could find this on Wikipedia at the bottom of so I started with Wikipedia. Why? Not because Wikipedia is true. I didn't read Wikipedia. I went straight to the bottom of Wikipedia page because they have to list their sources. And I knew if I went to the sources page, I could find maybe some old newspaper clippings of the sheriff and everybody talking about, like, days, just like within the first week after the unaliving. I could find a newspaper article of it. And I didn't, but I found something else. So this is way back from 2001. Local girl to serve as queen for a day. So this is when they're pulling their medical cons. Gypsy's got all this stuff wrong with her. She's at the Ronald McDonald House daily. You know, almost daily, but she's at the Ronald McDonald House all the time. This is at the moment where they're living with Claude Pitre, Dee Dee's father. So this is when they're living there. And so the whole article talks about what she gets to do as queen for the day, a little bit about Gypsy and the happy little girl through all the problems. And it's just a quick little article. But the last paragraph is what's important. Let me read you the last paragraph right here. This tiny little ending paragraph. See, I'll read it to you and see if you caught what I caught, and then I'll tell you what I caught. Despite her health, which has steadily declined over the years, Gypsy still tries to maintain a normal life. She spends a lot of time with her grandfather, Claude Pitre, whom she considers her best friend. She is also an avid animal lover with 4 cats, including Tibito, or Little Sweet Kisses. There's 2 things in that final article, that in the final paragraph, that I caught. First of all, when Rod got with Christy, Fancy will tell you about some stunts and stuff that Christy will tell you about that Dee Dee never stopped trying to get Rod back, even though Rod was with Christy. And I think one of the reasons, because Rod will tell you, well, she told me that our daughter's not going to make it till 18. Now, you guys know that Rod has a 4-child Nicolette, that he's never... And on her 8th birthday, for her 8th birthday present, Christy's like, it'd be a sweet gift for you to sign Nicolette over to the only dad she's ever known. Because the mother got remarried. And so for Nicolette's 8th birthday, as a sweet, beautiful gift, which in a way it is, they signed her over to the one man that she knew as her dad. She didn't know Rod was her dad. Rod's neighbors didn't know he had 2 extra kids. Not until the whole mommy dead and dearest thing. And that popped it right out in the open that Rod wasn't just married to Christy and those 2 were their only kids, Mia and Dylan or something. Dylan and Mia. No, what busted out of the woodwork is that Rod has 2 more kids. Not just 1, 2. So I think that Dee Dee thought, if I tell Rod that our kid won't make it to 18 and he sees her having all these surgeries, which Rod will tell you is related to the chromosome disorder, the eyes, the ears, the weak muscles, because she did need like a little help sometimes with walking. She does have a weakened muscle tone, but not enough that she's completely wheelchair bound, quadriplegic, paraplegic, whatever Dee Dee wanted to claim. But I think if Dee Dee claimed all of this, that Rod would come back to her. And he would want to spend whatever time they had together with Gypsy. And he could pull Dee Dee away from Christy. Or pull Rod away from Christy. Because, come on, your child's going to be gone soon. Don't you want to spend as much time with me and her as possible? So Rod snuck off in secret, so the neighbors didn't know, and spent time with Gypsy, but went home to Christy. I wonder if, because he's such a playboy, because he was dating a girl, that he cheated on that girl with Dee Dee, got Dee Dee pregnant, married Dee Dee, cheated on Dee Dee with, well, that girl, again, that he originally, cheated. He cheated backwards. He cheated this way, and then he cheated back this way. Got her pregnant, so Nicolette is 6 months younger than Gypsy. And then he divorces Dee Dee, and Christy, who's his friend, he starts dating her. And so he's got 3 women, 2 children, and soon 2 more. So he's got he's playing around with these 3 women. So he's not above cheating. So I wonder if sometimes he cheated with Dee Dee. Allegedly. Not saying he did. Allegedly. But it's just a curiosity of mine. Because, I mean, he did spend a lot of time with, and Dee Dee is a good manipulator of, this is our little family that we're going to lose our daughter soon. And maybe Conrad. Heavily. I bet that's why he's like, I don't want her ashes. He's like, don't even. This woman talked me into a lot of things because our daughter was. And that second little line in there. She spends a lot of time with her grandfather, whom she considers her best friend. It's in quotations in the article. Best friend. It seems like Dee Dee or Gypsy has a lot of best friends that she villainizes later. She villainized Claude. She villainized Dee Dee. She villainized Nick. Ryan. The only one she hasn't thoroughly villainized is Dan. She won't really talk about Dan. In the interrogation, she's just like, oh, me and Dan are kind of not getting along. And that's as much as she villainizes Dan. But she won't talk about Dan for some reason. And she does say that Ken is one of her many soulmates. So everybody's like, what does she mean by... She didn't say Ken is my soulmate. Or I always felt that me and Ken... When you're talking, you say me and our soulmates. I feel that we have always been soulmates. We are soulmates. You don't say one of many soulmates. What one of many? Usually soulmates are a singular thing. When people talk about, when they say this is my soulmate, they're literally saying out through all the world, this is the only person meant for me. Our souls came together and they were meant to come together and we were meant to be together. Just me and this person. Nobody else. Soulmates. The world is ours. And here she's saying, and Dan, she won't villainize Dan. She won't talk about Dan. She won't mention Dan. Out of all of these last 6 months, she's been talking. But Dan is sticking up for Nick. She won't even say anything about it. She won't even villainize Dan. Even though the fact that Dan is sticking up for Nick. So it's kind of weird. And so once again, here you go. So where does Claude go from being Dee Dee's grandfather and best friend every day, spending all this time with him, best friend, love him so much that I call him my best friend? Because if somebody was abusing you, you don't call him your best friend. You just, why is he even in the article that, yeah, I spend all this time with my grandpa and he's my best friend? Like, shouldn't your mom be the best friend? Is that why Dee Dee villainized Claude? She was jealous? Because he's in this article as Gypsy's best friend. No, you can't have that. Dee Dee needs to be Gypsy's best friend. She was jealous of Claude. So is the stories about Claude true then? Or is they birthed out of jealousy? So I'll leave you guys with that final thought. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you've made it this far in the video. I'm going to check my video. The audio, to me, once again, looks like it worked the whole time. So I'll double check and close out my video and make sure the audio's there. Hopefully you guys hear this, because I don't want to do this video a third time. But you guys just, think about it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this new information being come to light. But I love you guys. I really do. Look for the, if you need somewhere to go and somebody to talk to, look for, in Discord, look for the, is it Rosebud? I think. I really do have a place where you can go vent your problems. Okay, give me a sec. I'm trying to look it up. We redid me a new one. So, one of my viewers has been with me for over a year now. I created a Discord and it's all messy now, and he recreated me a new one. It's called the Rosebud Discord. That please don't come in if you're going to want to be a bully or be abusive. There is victims in here. Okay? And so, yeah, we do have a safe environment for people to come to. I have been doing this for a year and a half now, trying to build a safe community for people to go. Because I do have my degree in criminal justice and forensic psychology, and I do love helping people more than anything, not just interested in crime and everything, but I do love helping people. And so I do have a community out there, but please don't come to it if you're coming to, because this community has nothing to do with Gypsy, okay? It has nothing to do with her. So don't come if you're coming to talk to me about that. Save that for YouTube, okay? Come on my YouTube. Talk to me about that on my YouTube. But please respect the fact that the Discord is for victims and survivors, not for villains and bullies. All right, thank you guys, and stay warm, stay safe, stay happy, stay loved, because you are so very loved. And I will see you guys another day. Maybe same subject, maybe different subject. We'll see.